Thanks everybody. Can y'all hear us?
No. No.
You don't get much louder.
What?
This is okay here.
28 years as a police officer.
Alright, it's Saturday the 11th, April 2015, and guess what that means? It means it's time to go to Storm Spotter training, or the Weather Fest, or whatever they want to call it. So that's where we're headed now. We're just about a block away. So let's see if we can find a good parking spot. Last year we didn't have too much trouble, but it's pretty scarce parking most of the time, especially during one of these. So we're running here. School of Natural Sciences Weatherfest. Got some outdoor dining going on here. A couple of the news stations are here, and I'm sure they got a Dow truck or Doppler on wheels out front. So we'll take a look at that here in a little bit. Other than that, let's go find a parking space. Alright, finally found a parking spot after circling the lot for 2 or 3 times, but sign-in is at 1, which is in about 10-15 minutes, and training starts at 2. It's supposed to go to 4, so last year it went a little bit longer, so we'll see how it goes this year. But let's go get started. Just a little look at Hardin Hall. Been here for quite a while, but of course always doing updates here and there. Nice little campus. Looks like they have some sort of dog training going on out here, or just display of dog skills, so go figure that.
They're actually the temperature, humidity,
all of these employees are the last 8 years of presentation, including spotter training, are online. Continue coming in, a lot of people streaming in.
All very basic stuff. So anyway, I always like to start with a little intro video with music, and which you know exceptional today. But this, I'm going to get in front here. I'll make sure that I don't do what I just did. And then bang into the screen. But this diagram is extremely important for you to know. It's in the spotter guides. You can get pictures like this and different variations of it on the web, too. It's the structure of a classic supercell thunderstorm. There's different types of thunderstorms out there. There's lines of storms. There's wind, a little squall line. There's what we call clusters of thunderstorms. But the supercell thunderstorm is the most intense thunderstorm. It's the one that produces the biggest hail, the most damaging winds, and most of your tornadoes, most of your big. I've talked about for years and years and what to look at in the storm, in that storm event. So let's look at this storm. This is looking to the west. So we're looking out maybe towards Seward or maybe Beaver Crossing or something like that. We're looking to the west in this case. And so we have precipitation to your right. That's where the rain shaft is. That's associated with the downdraft. Oh, okay. You prefer me to do that? All right. I'll use the mouse. All right. Is that we have precipitation to your left, or to your right, I'm sorry, to your right. And that's where the downdraft is taking place in that storm. That's where the air is dragged down, cold air from the precipitation drags down to the ground, and then that air nears the ground, it fans out like the spokes of a bicycle wheel, and that's what we call the outflow, that gust of air that comes out, and at the leading edge of that outflow is what we call the gust product. And a lot of times you'll see a feature at the leading edge of that gust front called the shelf cloud, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. That's where the precipitation. The updraft region is on the left side of the storm. If you're facing the storm to the west or to the northwest. And so you have air going up. You have one main updraft. And that's what we call the mesocyclone. It's the rotating updraft part of the storm. Actually, the mesocyclone is not only the rotating updraft, but also another part called the rear plank downdraft associated with it. It curls around the back side, but it's the updraft portion that you'll notice the most with that big billowing tower that stands out like a sore thumb. So that's the main updraft. Off to the left of that is what we call the flanking line. This area where I'm circling here. This is towering cumulus clouds that stair-step their way to the main storm tower right here. So that's where new development may feed into the storm. Okay. So notice the one thing too is underneath these building towers is that the cloud base is smooth, flat, and rain-free. So that's what we call the rain-free cloud base in the storm. Now, sandwiched between the rain shaft to the right and the rain-free cloud base to the left, you can have an isolated lowering of the cloud base, generally about a mile wide, which we call the wall cloud. The wall cloud is actually where the most intense updraft is taking place in the storm. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. Now, right where this updraft, where the red arrow is showing going up, eventually that updraft reaches a point where it can't go any further, so it spreads out and air starts spreading out on top and creating an angle. And that's because it's reaching a stable layer of the atmosphere aloft called the stratosphere. So the air fans out on top, creates what we call an angle, which is an ice crystal cloud. And then sometimes in supercell thunderstorms, the updraft is so intense. You know, we're talking updrafts of going 70 miles an hour up and upward motion in the storm. And so that updraft will penetrate sometimes into the stratosphere and create what's called an overshooting top, which looks like a piece, like somebody took a lump of mashed potatoes and put it on top of that anvil. Okay. So that indicates extreme updraft that's taking place in the storm. Now, on the south and southeast side of the storm, if the storm is moving southwest to northeast. Now, this is the supercell thunderstorm on the left here. Actually, both of these are, but we're going to look at the left side first. This is what we call the radar reflectivity display on the storm. So we're looking at precipitation intensity. So where it's darker the red, the heavier the precipitation is. So where this big blob is, where I'm circling my cursor, right here, that is where the main, what we call front flank downdraft takes place in the storm. And that comes down, fans out, like I said, and your gust front occurs right at the leading edge. And for our purposes here, let's say the gust front is where the yellow meets the green. It makes it easy for you to visualize right there. Actually, your biggest hail occurs just north of the rotating updraft region right here. This is where you get baseball hail, softball size hail. It's an area you don't want to venture into. It's an area where storm chasers call a bear's cage. You don't want to go in there, okay? Unless there's some of those chasers that like to do that. There's some that do. Most times people will report things a lot closer to them than they really are. That's just because of our eyes perceive things to be a lot closer than they really are. What you can do to help in that situation is, I usually wait till talking to the emergency manager when they want to release that sort of information or give us that information, because sometimes that is kind of sensitive information. I always think straight line winds first, because people tend to think that the rain-free cloud base, this picture is a good example of wall cloud. Again, about 1 mile wide, maybe this stands out like a sore thumb underneath the rain-free cloud base. And for a true wall cloud, it has to be there a while. There has to be persistence. It has to be there 10, maybe 15 minutes. You'll see rotation in it. You will see debris or scud clouds, what we call ragged clouds, that will be lifted upward into the updraft in that wall cloud. Sometimes, especially in the early season here in April when fields are being worked, you'll see dust, dirt being pulled up into the wall cloud, into the updraft part of that storm. The tornado in the foreground is, the thin one, is the end of the Pilger tornado. It's dying out, and the background is the Wakefield tornado. The tornado went straight north and east of Wakefield. So the tornado has a life cycle to it. You have the developing stage with the dust and debris on the ground, then you go into the mature stage where the tornado is the most violent, usually in that stage, and then you have the dissipating stage where a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times the tornado will rope out and die out. So let's look at a
That's very labor intensive for it. I thought it was all Nemesis' fault.
Moving forward, this is the first opportunity that I had to attend this, the weather fest and all of the related things. So again, I look forward to many more in the future.
Skywar, the right-hand logo, is a product of the National Weather Service. They started the Skywar process. I think Dave Theopolis, who is also a hand and was involved with when he was in Indiana. Close enough. So anyway, we're part of the Skywar operation. Real quickly, last year we had 138 people who did training. I think we're doing better this year. We have 168 spotters that now have a state certification. And the state certification gives you bragging rights. I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. Last year we were out 6 times. We're called out by emergency management. We're not called out by the Weather Service. The Weather Service can suggest to emergency management that they want to put out spotters because they're looking at the radars. So we're responsible to emergency management. Part of the reason for that is we're covered by workman's compensation. When Jim or Mark back there gives us a call, says we're needed, tells us what parts of the county to be in, they also have to inform the public officials, who are the county commissioners, and that activates our workman's comp. We've been doing this for, 30-some years now. We have yet to have a claim against workman's comp, but nonetheless, it's really nice and net to have under us. We have 116 folks who helped last year. House lights are off. Raise your hand if you went out last year on one of our storm spots. Give the hands up there. Yeah, lots of good hands. Thank you all for helping. We had 764 volunteer hours and launched about 4,700 miles.
Why don't they leave the lights on?
As Brian mentioned, we were at little green signs. We're fixed locations in the county. I'll tell you more about that. We don't like to chase. We consider that to be dangerous, and Brian's video proved that. Stand up, big noise. There's John Murdoch, is my backup deck control and assistant emergency coordinator. Brian Levitt, and here in front, Brian. He's the emergency management operations. He'll be on the radio down there, along with Aaron and Jerry Lynn, if all goes well. Rod Hutt, Rod, where are you? Rod's our liaison with NEMA, Nebraska Emergency Management. And Bob Lieutenant Colonel, I'll start out with the basics, because many of you have not been trained before with us. The county is divided into 6 sections. Up in the far top left is the northwest, that's area 1, and over to its right is area 2. Beneath that are areas 3 and 4, and at the bottom of the county, areas 5 and 6. When the Weather Service asks responders through emergency management, they'll call me up and they'll say, we need spiders in areas 1 and 3. 1, 2, SIL repeater is Southwest 40th and Central Road, County, 147 slide over there. We also have the SPR, the backup repeater, 145.19. That's on the west side of the airport, this huge one. In case of LNE, the 2585 repeater here in Lincoln, been used for hundreds of years, literally, a great repeater, and this is good backup. There's your DMS 444.1 is a UHF repeater. We'd like you all to use that for your talk around. If you don't want to get on the net and say, hey, Brian, we see over to the left, look on 444.1, and that can be a little gossipy. Often that we gossip to one another and not disturb people. What do you see over there? So 440.1, everybody, it has all this in it, apps and whatever, and that should go out hopefully in a day or two, a week or two. I've got the points and map, driving directions, explicit driving directions on getting to points, and also getting away from points. As Brian mentioned, there's some points that are in the gravel. You don't want to go back the wrong way in the mud. Computer. We would prefer you not be doing that. If your head's down in your lap, watching a computer or your Android, watching the radar, you're not watching the horizon. And we would just assume you let us tell you, and Mark and Jim are going to be excellent at telling them that, to take a look, out spotters, take a look over by whatever, the location. We want your eyeballs, please don't use other devices. It's just asking for trouble for all of us. Weather words is a article. Brian said to do what we tell you to do. We told him what we were trying to do. We want the same information he does. Wind direction, gas, precipitation, begins or ends. Hail, obviously beginning and ending. Size of hail, in terms of coins. Any wall clouds, boring, rotating. We're looking for the same things the Weather Service is. Remember.
Well, everybody, I guess that's it. Just after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Interesting, but a little bit of new information, I guess. NAWAS on 453.650, their system's been down since I think last fall, and they're still working on getting it back up. Hopefully they'll get it back up before the end of storm season. So that's good to know, and we pretty much passed the test. Got re-credentialed, so bring on storm season, right? Like we got a little carnival bouncy house thing going on over here at these campus. Anyway, I'm gonna head home, get a bite to eat, and then run to the grocery store and try and fix that bike. Damn, you see all this shit, all this traffic, all the way up 27th Street. Not only was there an accident probably about a mile behind us, now we got all this bumper-to-bumper traffic on 27th Street. Thanks to the red-white scrimmage game that started at 1, and I guess it probably just ended in the last hour or so. This is post-game traffic. I should have went over to 14th Street other than 27th here. So I'm just trying not to get into any other types of accidents or rear-end anybody. But damn. So, some days the bear gets you, some days you get the bear. I get his iPod Touch. Don't say anything. I'm gonna hide it. I'm gonna hide it right. Where should we hide it? I'm gonna hide it right back here. Right back there. So we can't see it. Oh, that's a nice car. Kind of looks a little like my old, what was it, 19... I had a Plymouth Satellite back in like 86, 87. It was brown. Kind of looked like that. That was actually my first car. Let's see, what are we...